I was thinking about how the letter pairs, like A, Z, Z, A, B, B, S, U, H, E, how they can each have their own image for memory stories. And so when you think of perhaps a superhero, that superhero image represents 2 letters of the alphabet. And I was also thinking about how there are 26 letters in the alphabet. So you've got one of 26 options, another one of 26 options represented in that one image. And I was thinking about a pack of cards and how you've got red 9s, you've got red 5s, and if you go through all the possibilities, there are 26. Just like with an alphabet, there are 26 letters. And maybe you could do a kind of magic trick where you memorise the cards and you say back to someone that it's a red 9 or a red 5. You don't get specific enough to say the suit of the card. And yeah, I thought about this a long time ago and rejected it because I just thought that's not a very interesting card trick, because people will be thinking, well, if you know that it's a red 9, how come you can't tell me exactly what card it is? But recently I've been thinking a bit more about it. And this is what I've been thinking. So let's say you have a gimmick at the start of a set of magic tricks where you deal out 9 cards and you ask someone to guess what this card's going to be. And they might say the Ace of Diamonds. And you could say, well, my feeling is that you're wrong. Turn it over, okay, they're wrong. And you do this test 5 times, deal out 9 cards, try it out. But there's a trick involved where on the 5th time you deal it out, you actually know what the card's going to be, and it looks like you're very clever. And yeah, I've got a technique that does achieve that, where I deal out 5 lots of 9 cards, 7 cards just on the side. But the interesting thing going on here is when you gather up the cards after each sort of guess at what this middle card is, you don't gather the cards up in a random way. It would be, just for the sake of argument, let's say that you've got cards which you're going to collect up the black cards different to how you're going to collect up the red cards. So you could have the reds on top and the blacks underneath. And you gather them all up. Ugh. And then, so reds on top, black cards underneath. Then you deal it out again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And you could even think up a reason why you're displaying it like this. Maybe you could say you're giving someone more chance of getting it right, because every time you do it, you're displaying some cards that the answer can't be. So what do I say now? 3 of clubs. And you could have said before I turn it over, I think you're wrong there. But again, you've got your cards. Now, before I gathered up, what was it? The reds followed by the blacks. And then turn it over and place it down there. This time I'll gather up the blacks and then the reds. Yeah, not very good at doing this one-handed today because the other hand's holding the camera. So what's happening is it was reds and blacks, now it's blacks and reds. So the top blacks from last time, red, black, we're going to have these black ones put on top. And you're going to keep going like that until the effect is that when you've done your 45 cards, if you were to turn them over, not that you do turn them over, but if you did, there'd be a stream of reds, a stream of blacks, a stream of reds, kind of a stream of blacks, and then it looks like I gathered them up wrong. But anyway, see what I mean? It's kind of one stream goes into another stream, goes into another stream. And that's okay, but what's going to happen is at different points in the subsequent tricks you do, that are going to rely on some of half the pack being known to you, half the pack being reds and half the pack being blacks. If someone was to turn over the cards during a later on card trick you do, that applies the idea that some cards are black and some cards are red in a pattern. Someone's going to say, hey, there's something wrong with this pack. It's obviously not a random pack. So it got me thinking, so what would happen is maybe after that first display has happened of the 9 cards, 9 cards, 9 cards, 9 cards, 9 cards, maybe you'd say, well, I'm just going to sift through the cards and make 2 piles. And so wherever you see your reds, wherever you see your blacks, and because you're sifting through it like this, it doesn't look very much like you're going to a great effort to put a particular group of cards into one pile and a particular group of cards into the other. And yeah, you'd be able to maybe do a trick that involves taking a card of one colour and putting it into a pile of another colour. That's probably how it would progress from there. But this splitting of the pack into 2 sets, at least for the 45 cards you're working with, because earlier on you threw out 7 cards, but for the cards that you're working with here, there's an opportunity. Instead of just thinking of it as a whole load of reds and a whole load of black cards, you could come up with a totally different rationale for deciding what belongs in Group A and what belongs in Group B. So if you took the time to memorise that a particular 26 cards are one set and another particular 26 cards are the other set, there's nothing unusual about them, they wouldn't look unusual because your particular 26 cards that you always work with, they would look random because the suits are different and the numbers are different. There's no obvious pattern to it. And then I was thinking, well, what if you decided that for the first group of cards you'd only have one black club, one black ace, and the other pile would have the other black ace, the ace of spades, and you'd only have one black 7, and the other pile would have the other black 7. If you went on like that, and returning to how I started this video, the idea that it's not very interesting if someone can memorise cards very quickly and only say your card is a black ace or your card is a black 7. But at this point, if you're memorising, if you're picking up a pile of cards and all you're memorising are cards that belong in a set of 26 like this, if you memorise there is a black ace followed by a black 7, you've restricted it, so you know for sure that the black ace is the ace of clubs and the black 7 is the 7 of spades, because the ace of spades and the 7 of clubs would be in the other pile of, let's say, other pile of 26. So if you already know an image for every letter pair, like AA, AB, AC, and you apply it, that maybe A always means black aces, and maybe G always means black sevens. AG, as a particular image, would represent those two cards. Anyway, I thought it was interesting, and it might be useful